What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, we're going to talk about how the CRKN just signed a $100 million deal, giving them plenty of financing for the next 24 months. So the obvious question of this day is, if we're actually looking at that much potential dilution, why in the world is the stock holding strong at $1.33? All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy hump day to you. You're not going to believe this. I just ripped off a 24-minute video, too long for most of you. And between minutes 17 and 20, the sound cut off. I always watch the video once before I put it out there to make sure there's no mistakes. We don't edit around here. But if it's not audible, it's going to be a disaster, particularly if it's that long. So here I am, take two, with a broken back, a sore throat, and a mild fever. If you're not a member of our Discord community, and you should be, you can save 35% annually now. That's less than $2 a day at shopsmallbiz.com. Buy 1 month, get one free between now and October. Get a Discord if you don't have a small biz, premium if you do, at shopsmallbiz.com. But as fate would have it, literally, I fell down the stairs on Friday night. I drink once a week, and I was off my rocker. I had been to a birthday party. At the time, it was 82 degrees out, and I had these new dress shoes on. So I take them off upstairs. I'm running downstairs to get something to eat. Hardwood floors, no rugs. The second to last rung, boom, right on my back. Cracked a couple of ribs at least on this side. Got a huge bruise the size of a soccer ball right above my ass. I mean, it looks like somebody took a baseball bat to me. So the fact that I'm here after I just did a 24-minute video to do this again, I hope is testimony that I care about you and everyone that owns the stock. Whether you're doing business with me or not, it doesn't matter. I have a track record of giving a shit. So I'm going to tell you in much less than 24 minutes, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this $100 million ELOC. And before we get started, weather change, man. I don't know about you, but it was 80. Now it was 37 degrees this morning. My throat's on fire. To all the fucking clowns on StockTwits trying to say this is not dilutive. What fucking rock have you been sleeping under? Do you know anything about what you're talking about? Now, I will grant you, it wasn't specific in the 8K filing ELOC. They called it the agreement. Rather clever. But as I'm going to cover in an article briefly, where they quote the managing partner, AKA CEO of the hedge fund that's doing the deal for them, it is an ELOC. So folks, at $1.30, you're talking about potentially 70 to 80 million shares of dilution. That's 10x the current float of about 7 or 8 million. Where have we seen this before? Oh, that's right. Last May, the same hedge fund, Liquius, that helped them with the convertible preferred that they repriced under a nickel. I believe it was around 16 cents prior to that. Help them, yes, get out of the preferred into common and eliminate the debt. Bravo, A+. But are we looking at round two of the same thing that drove the stock from reverse split adjusted to $3 down to a nickel? Is that what we're doing here? Because we not only have a $50 million ELOC like we had with the Keystone Cops, but the hedge fund that did help them get out of debt and did help them convert tens of millions of shares of preferred into common is now back with a $100 million ELOC. And in case you didn't hear me, that would once again 10x the shares outstanding. Now, one of the reasons why I think it's holding strong in a market that is up today, congratulations to all you that listen to not some or most, but all of my advice. When I told you to buy the Qs, the SPY, and the IWM 2 months ago on the Japanese carry trade, you are up 15% plus. And oh, by the way, if you grab more Bitcoin at 52K, yeah, you're looking at 100 Gs by the end of the year. And that would also explain why we got out of Sophie with a 42% profit, taking our win rate to 133 and only 2 losses in the last 13 months. We took a 42% profit. The haters will tell you I got out a day or two early to get into a Bitcoin miner that I think is going up a lot more than I left on the table with Sophie. But we'll have to see about that. So yes, it is true, 98% win rate. And if I sold the Kraken and GRTS, which I've already confessed that sin to, of being down more than 80% or thereabouts in both, we'd be what, 134 and 6? You doing any better than that? You working with anyone that's going to charge you less than $2 a day? The motherfuck you are. And you're certainly not dealing with anyone that knows as much about the Kraken or has brought as many people into this fucking deal as I have. Yes, we made a fortune on the way up in May. We had it in and around a nickel. We blew it out near 30 cents. And it might be why Doug in his own mind is thinking, oh, they already made a fortune, so I'm going to do what I got to do to set me up and my employees up for a $100 million company in the next 24 months. And that therein may be why the stock is not budging. A, they're not diluting yet, obviously. B, we've gone from 0 to $50 million in less than 12 to 18 months. And in the process, avoided a Chapter 11 because the Smart Insert Window Biz, which again they bought from HP, has been delayed. He actually had to wade through a couple of lawsuits because of that. But I will give this guy an A++ for saving us all from the abyss, for giving us an opportunity to make life-changing money in the spring. But we're now all calling on the same guy who's saved this company and got him set up for a massive 2025 and beyond to start to defend. Forgive me. My back is killing me, folks. That hurt. To start to defend shareholder value. Doug, when are you going to get in front of the camera? When are you going to have a conference call where you not only tell us the motherfucking truth as to why you took down a $100 million ELOC instead of the $50 million you had last time? Why are you insinuating the possibility, even though the 8K says from time to time, meaning they're not in a rush to issue $100 million worth of stock? But why did you take it down? What speed are you going to be drawing down on what could be 70, 80, or if it goes lower in terms of price, 100 million shares or more? What is the exact timeline? Why are you doing this? What does it look like? And how much motherfucking money is the company going to make at the end of the rainbow? Because I can tell you, at least with respect to hundreds of people that I help bring in the stock, and I'm certain thousands more that will watch this video, we will forgive the next several weeks or even a few more months if you just get real with us. Just tell us the truth. And for God's sakes, forgive my language, take some fucking questions on the next conference call. Okay, so you don't want to talk to me. You told me to sell the stock. You wanted me out of the way. I was too much of a pain in the ass a few months ago. And because of that, we no longer talk. But I know you watch these fucking videos. You have to start giving your shareholders, whether it's me or somebody else, a chance to ask you tough questions. None of this fucking come on out and tell us the numbers without any real clarity and then end the call without giving disgruntled shareholders that have been bent over the fucking desk and fucked in the rear end all the way in and up out the other side with no lube. You have to ask them, let them ask you, when are you going to put skin in the game? You told me personally over a year ago that you were going to. Well, geez, now that we're down 99% or thereabouts, what are you waiting for? Why did you take down an ELOC twice the size of the last one? And I will say some good things about the hedge fund and read part of an article, so please stay with me. But before I go any further, ladies and gentlemen, underwaterscooterpros.com. I will pin in the top comment. His name is Ray. And I realize it might be out of season for some of you, but he's got a sale on merchandise. This shirt right here, I've washed it 3 times at least. It still looks and feels brand new. And I will try to turn around and show you the shipwreck that has a scuba diver going down with one of the pros. Oh man, if you've ever fallen down the stairs, whether you've been drunk or not, it's not fun. But it's an amazing shirt, and more importantly, he's an amazing guy. He shows up every fucking day. He takes all of my advice. He doesn't complain. He doesn't bitch, and he certainly hasn't thrown in the towel and fucking cost me $15,000 a month, as if anybody cares, because you can't take a punch, because you can slice it any motherfucking way you want. When you add in the ETFs, the Bitcoin that I said you should be buying more of at 52K, on its way to 100 plus by the end of the year, beginning of the next, or the fact that we've been right 98% of the time on over 130 winning trades. You can't take that away from me. And while most of you are fucking tired of hearing that, I have one thing to say. Tough shit. I know what I'm doing, and I'm pretty fucking good at what I do. And you can pay me less than $2 a day at shopsmallbiz.com. Get a Discord. If you don't have a small biz, that's 2/3 of our members. Premium if you do. And again, it's buy one month, get one free between now and October 30th, Halloween. Allow me to take a drink. I'm going to read an article or a portion of it. And then I'm going to close out with exactly what I think you should do with the stock. Again, last trade, $1.32. For those of you that were a little confused, and I'll cut you some slack. Title of the article, and this is from Global Newswire. Liquius, that's the hedge fund that, again, helped them convert the preferred to common and get debt-free. I applaud both. The repricing was bullshit. But you're very good, Doug, at taking care of employees, insiders, and those that you do business with. You get an F- for defending shareholder value, but maybe, and could be why the stock is not coming down, because those that know really know. He's not going to be yanking down $100 million, 70, 80 million shares or thereabouts all at once. And what if we get another couple of deals like the $33 million of lead remediation that starts January 1st, what if there's another 30 million or 50 million? Biden already said you got to be out of the lead pipe business in the next 10 years. That's tens of hundreds of billions of dollars of potential business. If they got a tiny fraction of it, this could be $100, $200 million company in the next few years. And if that's the case, and I realize it's a big if, you're going to need upwards of $100 million of cash, capital, credit, from time to time. Liquius, that's the name of the hedge fund, finalizes $100 million equity line of credit with Crown, building on strategic recapitalization efforts, and separately provides Nuburu, N-U-B-U-R-U, I believe the ticker is B-U-R-U, which has tripled since they got $65 million from the same company. I think it was $15 million of immediate capital infusion, and then another $50 million of ELOC, and this is for BURU, at the time of the announcement, within the last week. And this is a former $10 SPAC that went all the way to 2 cents. The stock tripled from roughly 40 cents. This morning it was up around 150. It's pulled back closer to $1. But in their case, it was perceived very positively from, again, the same hedge fund that's giving the CRKN $100 million ELOC. Quote, this is from Doug, CEO of CRKN. Retiring all of the company's preferred stock in May was a pivotal moment for us. I agree. Allowing us to streamline our capital structure with no remaining convertible debt or preferred stock. That's brilliant. You don't want companies, especially if they're under $1, aka penny stocks, that are loaded up with convertible or have a ton of debt. They have neither. They do have a $100 million ELOC, so allow me to continue. This has set the stage for us to focus on developing our business segments and pursuing acquisitions. On a more favorable terms for the company and its shareholders, said Doug Craxel. We look forward to continuing our partnership with Liquius as our financial partner. Read between the lines. That must mean the Keystone Cops are gone. And I had no love, as most of you know, for those motherfuckers. They were too expensive. Even Doug called it, quote, expensive money in our first phone call, I believe. And I've done some research on Liquius. They're a lot better, for example, than a Yorkville, right? Yorkville, very expensive, very toxic terms. They drove fucking MCOM, among other stocks, including one that we own, into the dirt. Liquius looks to be more of a mid to upper tier hedge fund that is in the business of capitalizing small and mid cap companies. And there was nothing in the actual 8K, let alone that referred to an equity line of credit, even though it is, but that looked toxic. There was no way below market. In fact, there was a reference that it's going to be priced based on 97%, I believe it was, of the lowest VWAP, which is the average price in a 10 to 14 day period. Nothing stunk to me as raping the public or destroying shareholder value in that 8K. And I believe, A, they're not diluting now, obviously. And B, those that know, maybe the hedge fund is providing price stability. Unlike the Keystone Cops, which helped drive the motherfucking stock in the spring from $2 or $3 a share on the last reverse split to under a nickel. Maybe they're in good hands. Maybe they're only going to draw down a few million at a time. Stick around until the end. I'm going to tell you, including a message for Doug, as to what I would do, but allow me to continue. This is now from the managing partner, aka the CEO of the hedge fund. Quote, this new ELOC provides Liquius with the tools needed to continue their mission of providing strategic capital solutions to Kraken, said Jacob, and forgive me, Fernani, Fernane, managing partner of Liquius. I continue. The flexibility and scale of this financing are precisely what emerging companies need to thrive. Our recent financial programs with Nibiru, again, the stock doubled. I think it's BURU from $0.50 or thereabouts to $1.50 on their news. It allows us to provide Nibiru and the Kraken, underscores our commitment to provide flexibility, strategic capital with minimal dilution, enabling companies to achieve their growth. That's all, folks. We don't edit around here. Their growth goals. Before I close out with exactly what I would do, I would like to mess with the managing partner, if I could, for a second. This airy-fairy language, and it's in the Nibiru press release in particular. And I'm going to read this line. Quote, this financing has been structured in a way that avoids unnecessary dilution, leveraging pre-funded warrants, not the case with the Kraken deal. Everywhere I look on their website, in these two news releases, they talk about unnecessary dilution. Let's get it straight, pal. If you're giving away $65 million in the case of Nibiru or $100 for the Kraken, there is no way around there's going to be $100 million worth of dilution. Don't tell us it's fucking unnecessary. Come on now. At current prices, it's 70 to 80 million shares, 10x the current outstanding float. My hope, my prayer, and maybe you could have something to do with this, is to tell Doug we're not fucking diluting down here. We're going to come out with the next earnings report, which is going to show a massive increase in top line revenue. You said, Joel, in the last conference call that you were going to be net income positive in the fourth quarter. If that's the case, the stock might be able to get back to $2 a share, which is where it was on that pump 2 weeks ago, and stay there. And Doug, if you will come out in that conference call and say, let me walk you through the $100 million or preferably sooner ELOC that we now have with the same company that got us out of debt and helped us eliminate the preferred stock. We are not pulling down, number one, $100 million at once. Number two, we're only going to have to use approximately X as we progress into the next quarter. Give us the short-term 90-day outlook on how much approximately that you're going to have to be pulling down. Because I'm telling you, Doug, and again, I give you an A+ for resurrecting this fucking company from the dead. I think it could easily be, if you're responsible with respect to shareholder value and not pulling down on this ELOC and being real crystal clear as to how much and when, this could easily be a $3, $4, $5 stock. And if you allow it to breathe and allow shareholders that have been decimated to recoup some of their lost value, then when Liquius pulls down on this ELOC, and yes, they're going to have to sell shares to do it, they can do a lot less if the stock is $3 or $4. And if you establish credibility for the first time, in my opinion, ever with shareholders, Doug, and maybe even do a joint statement or a joint conference call, have the guy on the next earnings call. Let him tell us exactly what the deal means. Let him tell us why it's not any more dilution than necessary, whatever the fuck that means. Let him and you answer questions from guys like me. The fact that you end in closing conference calls without taking any questions is fucking weak. You look like a puss, and I truly don't think you are. You've been a bit slippery, perhaps even a bit devious. You should have never fucking told me you wanted me out of the stock, although I should have listened, because that was pre-split 10 cents a share. And it's now worth at $1.30 less than 1 penny pre-reverse split, which was 1 for 150. So maybe you were trying to do me a favor, but I'm here once again with a broken motherfucking back and a scalding hot throat to try to do you a favor. If we can even be truthful with one another. You, your employees, and perhaps most importantly, that sounded a little funny, thousands of shareholders all over the world could make even more money than we did in May. Much, 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 much more. But you have to get real and you have to get honest. You have to start telling people and answering questions exactly why you need all this potential dilution, exactly with certain, risk parameters, of course, with your lawyers, where it's going and why it's going there. We're here to support. We're here to buy more stock if we can get clarity. We're not buying any more right fucking now, because I'll give you a 50% chance, ladies and gentlemen. We're going back down under $1 just like we did the last time. But maybe, just maybe, the reason why it's holding its own at $1.30 some odd cents is because they're in better hands than they were with the Keystone Cops. They are going to be more responsible this time around and not pull a Yorkville, aka MCOM, at less than a penny on the pink sheets. So until next time, always remember that I love you. And I hope to see you join us inside of our private Discord community by way of shopsmallbiz.com.